Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us. It was the Board of Trustees meeting today at the headquarters of the People's Democratic Party. And as that was going on the inside, something strange was happening outside. A clash between supporters of Mr. Samuel Anyanwu and those of Ude Okoye were both laying claim to the office of the National Secretary of the People's Democratic Party, PDP. Temporarily disruption of the Board of Trustees meeting occurred, and trouble started when some staff of the PDP who were loyal to the embattled National Secretary Samuel Anyanwu questioned Mr. Ude Okoye's presence at the meeting and tried to forcefully pull him out. Mr. Ude Okoye and Samuel Anyanwu are both laying claim to the office of the National Secretary of the party, a matter that is now before the Supreme Court. However, the acting national chairman of the party is blaming leaders of the PDP, including some members of the Board of Trustees, for the unresolved crisis in the party. I'll allow you to listen to Mr. Damagum and, of course, the PDP Board of Trustees chair. Take a listen to them.
Let me express my profound disappointment over the crisis currently rocking the leadership of the National Working Committee, as elder statesmen and women, leaders who hold the trust of the generality of our party members and the public. It is disheartening that these issues have not been resolved. The failure to resolve these internal conflicts undermines the strength and credibility of our great party. It is therefore imperative that the National Working Committee rises above personal interests and places the survival and progress of our great party above all considerations. In the light of these challenges, I must emphasize the urgent need for a National Executive Committee meeting, NEC. I again urge the National Working Committee to honor its words and convene the NEC meeting as scheduled in February 2025.
Most of this crisis that you see today within the NWC is propelled by our leaders that are supposed to unite us. Some of us are also complicit, and I want to use this opportunity to caution us, caution our leaders. You may have ambition, but you don't ride on a dead horse to reach your destination.
There you have it. Chief Adoforos Wabara, who is the chair of the People's Democratic Party Board of Trustees, and Mr. Umar Damagum, the acting national chairman of the party. Let's get one of the elders of the party. All right. Was a former national vice chairman of the party, and also a member of the Reconciliation Committee. I don't know whether his committee failed in their duties, because at this day in Yoruba land, literally meaning that the elders cannot be in the marketplace while the head of the infant is being twisted. Chief Olafeso joins us live on our program tonight. Thank you so much indeed. Have you and your team failed in reconciling this party and the aggrieved persons? Because the Olagunso Yonyolola committee, which you are a member of, is supposed to reconcile, but weeks after that committee was constituted, see what was happening today. People were knocking each other's head in scuffle.
This has been long coming. Quite frankly, these are not the best of times for our party. In the face of the challenges this country is facing, the major opposition party should be in position to direct, to ensure that we encourage our people to know that hope is on the way. And the Olagunso Reconciliation Committee has not failed. We were inaugurated in August, and we have completed a zone. We've completed the Southwest, we've visited, and tomorrow we'll be in the Northeast. And we have spoken to scores of our leaders, and we are very confident that by the time we're done, most of these problems could have been resolved. I think what is happening to us is existential, because what happens to PDP will eventually have an impact on Nigeria. The greatest fear any one of us Democrats would have, including your good self, is the danger and the fear of a one-party state. May it not happen to us. So we take our job very seriously, and many of us in the Reconciliation Committee are tested leaders of the party that must have devoted a portion of their life in seeing that this party is built. I don't know. I was just landing when this happened. I'm here to get the details of what happened at Wadacha this afternoon, but then nothing justifies it. There must be decency, decorum in the way issues are resolved amongst leaders.
Chief Olafeso,
yeah.
Just for a moment,
yeah.
Look at this. Members of the People's Democratic Party at what's supposed to be the most decorous, the most a safe haven, where you have party and democratic issues being discussed. How would you describe this kind of behavior? If you see a man who wanted to hit a police officer there, how would you describe it?
Shameful.
Are you ashamed to be a member of this kind of institution?
Not at all.
That people are beating themselves up?
This is just a mere occurrence that happened today, and those involved should be the ones to be blamed. I carry so many years of PDP performance and contribution to this nation from 1999. We were not young. What we are losing to the street is the fact that few of the younger generation today don't know what Nigeria was before 1999. Some well-seasoned citizens of this country came together to present to Nigeria a party that will have a national outlook. And that was the birth of PDP. From 1999, when Chief Obasanjo took over for the last 8 years, Nigeria was rebuilding. From massive debt to being a pariah state, this country turned out to be, the best destination in Africa for any form of investment. So why will I be ashamed of those past and then decide my future on the premises of what is happening?
Are these urchins or are they real members of your party?
How will I know? The truth
based
is
on
that
their behavior.
You linked it with two individuals, which we need to find out exactly what transpired. I told you, I was landing where you called me. So the only place I've been to is the Charles station. I'm still going to find out exactly what transpired.
The question is this supposed to be Chief Olafeso.
It was a build. It was a build up to what.
I know you as a gentleman. I'm not sure that your knuckles are strong enough to fight any physical fight at this stage of our life in a country as this. I mean, an opposition party that's supposed to be discussing policy. Look at what is happening in your party. Is your party serious at all? Because we're talking of an opposition party to keep the APC on their toes. Are you serious with your job as a party?
Looking at this is part of what exactly the Reconciliation Committee was set up for, part of what the Disciplinary Committee was set up for in August, to begin to see how we can reposition ourselves. In the last, in the Fourth Republic, there is no way you can actually use this moment to define the People's Democratic Party. I would disagree with that. But then it has come to this, which means there is a clear and present danger. And the danger is existential. And that's the reason why I mentioned it to you that, my brother, if we don't stem the tide, if we don't get serious as quickly as possible, and Olagunsoye Oyinlola is a very serious officer, and a gentleman who I have absolute respect for, and that's the reason why we're pushing all over the country. By tomorrow we'll be in Bauchi. We're speaking with our governors, we're speaking with our senators, we're looking at how far we've gone so wrong. Believe me, many Nigerians don't know us. They didn't know there was a time in this country where a bag of rice was 2,500. They didn't know that Obasanjo paid up our debt completely. They cannot remember when people were just coming, free flow of foreign direct investment into this country. Of all the presidents we produced, Obasanjo, Yar'Adua, and Jonathan, it was a great moment for our country under this same party. And there is no way we're going to say we don't have a future anymore. I can guarantee you something, these two shall pass.
This looks like an own goal. I mean, can you blame anybody for it other than yourselves?
Not at all. Most of our woes are the ones created by ourselves.
So those blaming outsiders or the other political parties for your problem?
They are very unserious. If you're blaming other political parties, blame yourself. When APC was in the trenches against us, how come they did not succumb to us? Look, it was a gala of propaganda against the party. What have we done enough to the point that we'll be fighting each other, apart from throwing the punches at APC that has actually created crisis for this country as we witness today?
So your PDP should blame itself for its present
That is my
problem.
That is my personal opinion. And
is Wike your problem in your party?
How can individual? I don't like mentioning. How can
is Atiku your problem?
How can an individual be the problem of a party?
I'm just mental too.
No, he's
because people narrow it down to the differences between these two men.
Hell no, it cannot be. I'm a very sincere person, and a lot of people that understand my politics knows fully well that I speak the truth. It's far beyond these individuals. Some people are supporting Atiku, some are supporting Wike. What about the ideological position, the vision of the party that we should need to support? What sacrifices have we made to make life better for other people? So it cannot be individuals that we're talking about. They too are victims, if you must know. There is leadership victim emanates from the fact that, a position is carved out for you, and suddenly they made out a very huge enemy for yourself.
Because when you hear, Chief Olafeso, an allegation by Atiku Abubakar that the APC gave opposition leaders 50 million naira.
What is, I've not heard from, Vice President Atiku that kind of statement, so I cannot, on that basis, react to what I did not hear.
So the question I'm asking is that if those innuendos or assertions, or in fact, if Atiku Abubakar has evidence to that fact, and I'm wondering whether or not there's a handwriting. Verified? I mean, there is a statement to that effect, and I can read it. Yeah, there's a statement to that effect.
And confirmed from.
No, there was a statement from his office to that effect.
Okay.
So the question is that
go ahead.
There are inferences that maybe, just maybe, there is an effort from the ruling party in killing opposition party.
Obviously, every ruling party will do everything possible to ensure that they disable the opposition party if they are not serious, if they are not focused, if they have no vision. How come we did not, truncate APC? So are you telling us that during the time they came between 2012, 2013, and 2014, that we don't make efforts to dislodge them? Were they dislodged? To me, that is just begging the issue. The reality of it is that Nigerian people are hungry. Things are not going, things are not auguring well for our people. So if we want to take leadership seriously, we must begin to learn to sacrifice and focus on how to build a better nation for our people. So what the situation is that, how come Tinubu himself held on to Lagos when we were in office? Because he created, without any constitutional, backing, LCDs in Lagos, and was denied his allocation for months, if not years. The man survived because he believed that what he was doing was the best for his people. I'm saying this not because I'm a member of APC. I don't relate with them, and they all know me for being a PDP person from day one. Dr. Agagu brought me to this party, and I remain since I've been here. I've never changed.
Let me read to you what Atiku Abubakar said, and I quote, "I want to make this public. I met with leaders of a political party in the opposition, and they openly admitted that this government gives them 50 million naira each." End of quote.
I cannot react to that show.
No, I'm saying, and I mean, you have said
because
anyone who is insinuating.
What is the definition of Judas Iscariot?
No, the question is, if you said anyone who is saying that the problem of the PDP is caused by outsiders, they're not serious.
Has that been investigated?
No, the APC has been responding to it.
Wait a minute. I'm asking you, Sean, if it's been investigated and these people have been found guilty of taking money from the APC, what have we done to them? That is the reason why I said we have more responsibility to rein in our people and create a highly disciplined party.
Do you see your party sinking further to the ground?
No.
You lost in Akure, in Ondo.
Yes,
you lost in Edo.
No.
Osun election is coming.
You were there. You were a living witness to Edo and Ondo. The truth is that what happened was not democracy or any electoral process. It was just purchasing, buying, and rigging. That was all. The whole process was compromised. I screamed and yelled to the world about a week or two to our election that there is an invasion of the state and quantum of our money have been unleashed on our people. It was rumored that over 30 billion was spent on an election to put a governor on a seat when people cannot get any hospital to go to, no school to take their children, no food to eat.
And that was the explanation for the winning in all the 18 local government, what they call 18-0 on the APC side.
We didn't participate. PDP knew for sure that you cannot trust somebody that they deployed 23,000 police officers to Ondo State. Was there any single arrest? So why did they spend all that money?
Because
and listen, this election, this local government election, was conducted by APC itself, known for its non-compliance to electoral laws, and they are never known to have equity and dignity of purpose in the process of electioneering. How come they won everywhere? That is the question. That is the question begging for an answer. There's no democracy here. There are no elections. It's been subverted, and you too, everybody knows. And that's the reason why we're reeking in pain. How can this be our lot in the 21st century? You saw what happened in Ghana. Do you think that can happen in Nigeria? I am so much afraid for the future than for this present, because I can see hands of the opposition preparing themselves to unleash on Nigerians what we have not seen before in the years ahead. And that's the reality. So what is happening here today is something that we must have to deal with and ensure that they are dealt with. So the message you read to me, if it is true that some people have actually compromised themselves, then there are processes in our constitution that, discipline such characters, and they can be suspended, they can be expelled for portraying the party in a bad light and betraying it. So, for me...
We've seen political parties come and go.
Yes.
Some live and die.
Yes.
And I can mention to you, in my very short stay here, that we've seen political parties that go in this manner, very much in the prominence, and gradually they fizzle out. Are you worried that your party, PDP, is wearing out and may fizzle out if care is not taken?
Thank you. The care is what we're taking. The care is what is critical, that leaders must come together. As bad as things are for all, we still have 12 governors performing brilliantly in their states. You can go to Oyo, you can go to Osun, you can go to Bauchi, you can go to Rivers. They are doing excellently well. What we need is to begin to manage ourselves better than we have done in the past. Let me tell you some of our deficiencies. We came into power in 1999. We were not opposition to anybody. The military midwifed all the process, and we came in. So we never actually acquainted ourselves with a battle through which you can fight your way back to power when you're in opposition. So a lot of things we're learning at this process. I'm not saying, and I will not, ignore the fact that, a very deft ruling party like APC will do everything to undermine us. But the truth is that, is it right for us to undermine ourselves? I'm speaking loudly on television. I cannot be undermined when it comes to my being a member of this of People's Democratic Party. And I will never take money from anybody to betray my own party.
Ambition, they say, is at the heart of all of this. If you have your way, would you say Atiku Abubakar should run again for president?
Where is it in the constitution that says that Atiku Abubakar cannot run? The people will decide. That's the reason why you have primaries, you have national convention, people will sit and decide. All these people, who do we pick? So we will now decide on our own, and then deny an individual his right to express himself in whatever way he feels. I don't think that is right.
So
and you know too,
Atiku Abubakar can run all he likes.
That is not democracy. It is the people that will tell Atiku Abubakar time is enough. And sorry, we're not going to vote for you this time. And that is nobody's right to say, no, Waziri, you cannot run because you've been running for too long. What happens to Abraham Lincoln in America?
The reason why I asked that question was that was the genesis of the problem of this party from the last primaries, in the presidential primaries.
Who said so?
I know so. I monitored your party activities, and I was at a primary.
It was the genesis?
And I saw the aftermath. This was the genesis of the immediate problem that you are facing. From that, it led to the crisis against Senator Ayu. From that, it went on to Wike up in arms against the process and saying, look, this process was not, there's no integrity in the process, and things went sour. It went south and is going further south.
Consider that your personal opinion, because other people may have something different from that.
Okay, so what would you adjudge as where the genesis of what you're seeing today?
It is failure of leadership. It's not because Atiku ran. Failure of leadership to actually look.
Is it because Atiku ran or Atiku won?
No,
because I'm giving you an inference, sir. Just for a moment. I gave you an inference to what I imagine based on my observation and reporting as a reporter, that what I saw as the genesis of the present problem was at that primaries at the National Stadium.
What I feel we did not do, it's not about somebody winning or losing. It is coordinating our actions immediately after that, convention. If we have brought everybody together and, provide leadership, let me tell you, the election that eventually played out, did not, the current, the current president did not win. It was not a majority president. He scored, between Peter Obi and Atiku, you have almost about 12 million votes. So the current president will be languishing behind with about 5 million votes. And then you're now telling me, if we've been able to reconcile all this, do you know Peter Obi ran with Waziri in the previous election? And that everybody that eventually, played against each other, that provided the opportunity for a minority president to take over power was because leadership did not manage the outcome.
Chief Olafeso, with your experience,
yes.
Do you think the PDP should court Peter Obi to assure your party of victory?
Not only Peter Obi, every person that is somebody in this country that can actually garner 1 or 2 votes must be spoken with. It is not only here that you have alliances, you have people working together to be able to win an election. It happened in Ghana just not a long time ago. And that's exactly what we all should do at this moment. No single party can defeat APC alone.
All right.
Don't let us delude ourselves. We must all come together to fight. And the reality of
no single candidate that ran in 2023 can single-handedly defeat Tinubu and the APC in 2027.
It will be very delusional if all these things like that.
So the opposition must come
together.
On a final note,
yes.
Is it possible that you can call Atiku Abubakar and Nyesom Wike to the same room to resolve the party problem? Do you see that happening? Can Olaguzo Yonyula make that happen?
How about the wars fought in the past, the Second World War, where you have 5 to 6 million people killed? People will still come to the same table. It is not eternal. There are differences. It's not something that is not reconcilable. And the reality of it is that we will walk through that door and bring everybody together, because we have all failed falling short of his glory by not doing the right thing. I said it is leadership failure that we have to allow all those things go on for too long, allowing our governors to dissent to what we're doing and not looking for a common ground on which we can all stand. And that's what I stand for. Reconciliation, a process. It's a process, not something you do and cut short within, a split second. Chief, and that's where we're moving at it.
Chief Eddie Olafeso, still very optimistic about reconciling all these elements that one would think are the most difficult to reconcile as far as the PDP is concerned today. But thank you so much indeed, Chief Eddie Olafeso. Always a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much.
I would love to return anytime so that we have more time.
A former national vice chairman of the PDP and a member of the reconciliation of the PDP.